And welcome to Sin and Fin, the Dugout Decisions Show.
It's not a great day, folks. It's not a great day in Blue Jays land. I'll admit I'm not as hyped up as I was yesterday, fired up about the Kyle Tucker thing. I'm just sad. You know, if you've listened, if you're audio only, if you're seeing the video, I got the Bo Bichette jersey right behind me. You know, I've been a Bo Bichette truther. I was saying back in November, give him $45 million a year. Whatever it is, get the deal done. And what do you know? $42 million per season for the New York Mets to be a third baseman of all positions. Like, what? He doesn't even have an arm. Why is he playing third base? I'm already getting crapped on online. I'm seeing the comments. I don't even care at this point. You know what? Baseball, yes, it is a business, but it's also an entertainment business, right? Like the players are meant to entertain. Bo Bichette entertained me. I don't know what it was. Vladdy's the captain of the team. He'll probably get the C at one point. I don't know what it was. I was always attached to Bo. I know, Christian, you really wanted Kyle Tucker, but I don't know what it was. I just couldn't get over it. I wanted Bo Bichette. I will say, and we've said this off pod as well, that the New York Mets are my second favorite team, and at least they got one guy. So props to them. They got their guy. I don't think the Jays were ever going to do 42 million, right? I think that's fair to say.
I think that's fair to say as well. And after the Tucker news yesterday, I think it was just fair to say, oh well, there's Bo Bichette still on the market, and hey, this guy's been in the org forever. It's an easy move to go out and bring back Bo, and he fits somewhat well in our lineup and in the field. So let's bring back Bo. We had no clue how long this was going to take and the whole Bo negotiations were going to take. I myself thought it was going to be a week or two just because the whole Kyle Tucker thing took forever. But man, it was less than
Yeah.
24 hours, and then you get the notification that Bo Bichette signs with the New York Mets. I was shocked. I don't see the fit with the Mets. You mentioned third
No.
base. Bo Bichette wasn't flexible with his position versatility when he was a Blue Jay. He didn't want to go to second base, move off shortstop. Don't get paid shortstop money. That's why I didn't want to move off shortstop. And then um, little do we know he's going to New York to play third base. So that'll be a fun watch. And the Jays got beat out on two contracts that are putrid. Like the Kyle Tucker one, $60 million a year, and even the deferrals brought it down to $57 million a year. That is still a heck of a lot of money. And
Yeah.
then you look to Bo Bichette, it's $42
Man.
million a year. I it the players have got to take these contracts, and they did, and you
Yeah.
really can't match or top these contracts.
Yeah, ultimately, good for Bo. You know what? That's just where that's the cope here. It's just good for Bo. Take the money. We would all do the same thing if we were in his position, right? If we were that player, you're taking $42 million a year. If the Jays offered 20 or 25, whatever, you see 42, yeah,
Yeah.
you're taking that. Of course. You're right about the fit. I don't know. I don't see it, but I don't know. It's the New York Mets. It's Steve Cohen. They just throw around money like it's nothing. So I thought they were going to get Tucker, and now they get Bo. So good for them, I'd say. But it's just crazy the offseason, how quick it's changed from just think a week ago. Oh, we have Okamoto, we have Rogers, Pons, Cease. We've talked about this. This is amazing. Get one more guy, and this is a perfect offseason. How quick it's flipped from such an amazing offseason to how did we not get either of them? What were we saying back in November? It's, yeah, okay, we'll make those supplementary moves, but it's Bo or Tucker. Like, we've been dragging this the whole offseason, November, December. We're more than halfway into January now. We just made a most recent pod saying which one is it going to be again? Is it Kyle Tucker? Or is it Bo Bichette? And just like that, you don't get either of them. At least our one promise was granted. They ripped off the band-aid really quick. I said, let's get it done this weekend. They said, not even 24 hours will get it done.
Yeah.
So at least maybe that's the one good thing that we can be in sorrow over it for the next couple of weeks and then baseball starts again. Where I'm at with the whole thing is, you know what? I had this emotional attachment to Bo Bichette. Where I'm at with it now is there just has to be another guy that comes up that's a young guy. Is it Atreya Savage? Is it, I don't know, an Addison Barger? He's not that young, but he's fresh into the organization. I don't know. Is it Ernie Clement? Is it some guy like that that's just going to be here for a while? I need one of those guys. I was saying if Kyle Tucker came here and he was here for 10 years, okay, Bo can go off into the sunset somewhere else and I can be attached to Kyle Tucker. Now I don't have Bo Bichette or Kyle Tucker. So Vladdy's here. Maybe it just has to be Vladdy, but I'll have to see now. Maybe I shift to Savage or something and we'll have to move on from this guy up here.
Yeah, it's a shame that this offseason is kind of in the same breath as last year's offseason with Roki Sasaki missing out on Roki, missing out on Soto, and then the year
Yeah.
before with Otani. This offseason has really been a great offseason. They've improved
Yeah.
their pitching rotation vastly. I mean, looking back at the rotation going into last year, it was nowhere close to what it is now. So with the addition of Cease and Ponce instead of Scherzer and Bassett, th those are huge moves. And also in the bullpen with Tyler Rogers, he's a real consistent piece. And then also, I think it was hugely important that the Blue Jays went out and got Kazuma Okamoto. We didn't know what the fit was at the time because we were dialed in on Kyle Tucker, dialed in on Bo Bichette. Um, but now, when we didn't get either of them, it just shows the importance of Okamoto because hey, we can talk all we want about Bo Bichette would make this roster better. It's true. He would make the lineup better, all that. The Blue Jays made it to the World Series without Bo Bichette. Like that's just how it is.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
And who was in the lineup? It was IKF. Well, IKF's not on the roster. Who else is on the roster? It's Okamoto replacing IKF. That's a clear addition right there. There was no Santander in that postseason lineup. So there's a lot of positive regression candidates, guys who didn't perform last year, guys who weren't on the team last year, coming on the roster and are expected to play better. And this just that there's a clear role now for Anthony Santander. A week ago when we were talking about Bo and Tucker, we didn't know what Santander was going to look like. We didn't know if a guy was going to get kicked out of the lineup, Bernie Clement or an Addison Barger. Those guys have clear and prominent roles right now. So Addison Barger is going to have to be a full-time player. Santander has got to take a leap this year, and there's some guys you're going to have to count on because you didn't go out and get Bo Bichette and Kyle Tucker, which is perfectly okay. And you're going to need some improvement in those categories. And one thing that I could see happening is, well, who was in our two hole all postseason? It was Nathan Lucas. It was Davis Schneider. It wasn't a consistent piece, and I wouldn't count on Nathan Lucas being the same player he was in 2025. So what I would do is we've talked about trades in the past week. There's a lot of outfielders, there's a lot of depth players, some fringe AAA, MLB, quadruple A guys. Go out and make a trade. Go out and get a Brendan Donovan. Go out and get a CJ Abrams to play um, to fit in that two hole. I would like another lefty bat in the two hole. Does that mean go out and overpay Cody Bellinger like you did for Anthony Santander? I don't think so. I think Cody Bellinger is a cool player, but the Yankees or someone else is going to overpay for him, and we've seen all these overpaid contracts so far. So I would shift away from Cody Bellinger. I would go to a Brendan Donovan, a CJ Abrams, a left-handed bat like that to slot perfectly in your two hole.
You're right. You make that point about contracts. What are these contracts turning into?
That's
Bo
insane.
Bichette is not a 42. I'll say it right now. I love the guy. I'm the one that loves the guy in this podcast, and I'll say it right now. He's not worth $42 million a year. The defense is atrocious. He doesn't have an arm. I don't know what he's doing at third base, and he's mostly an average hitter. Like how, so I don't know. Good for him, obviously, with the money. It's just crazy what these contracts are turning into. How is Kyle Tucker the highest paid player in the league by AAV? 60 mil a year, more than Aaron Judge, more than Ohtani, all that. Like, what are we doing with these Is Cody Bellinger going to get 50 a year? Like, what are these contracts turning into now? I don't even know. You're right. Is it worth it to go and overpay for Cody Bellinger now? Because it seems like we're not going to get a realistic deal with him, which is, I don't know, a 2025. It probably is going to turn into like 35 or 40. And are you really going to give that
Likely.
to Exactly. And a guy who doesn't have great underlying numbers, is that a guy you want to give the money to? I don't know. You're right, though. You make the point about, well, the Jays didn't need Bo Bichette to get to the World Series. Granted, they didn't need him. But just think about it the other way. Think in the regular season, they got 94 wins. They had to get those 94 wins to tie the Yankees to not play the wild card. Who was a big part of that? Bo Bichette's been a big part of that. And we think about how many times have we referenced that home run in May against the Rangers. That
Yeah.
win doesn't happen. We don't win the division. We go to the wild card, and we know what this team is like in the wild card series. We really don't like that wild card series, 0-6. So he was a big part of it. I get it. He wasn't needed until we got to the World Series. And it's just crushing to think, man. Game 7, I'm right up there. I see the home run. That's the lasting image of Bo Bichette off Shohei Ohtani. That's what makes it sting even more. I'm never, said this before, I'm never going to watch Game 7 again, the entire game. But I've seen the clip of the home run going around so much. And I have that video of him there. It's just crazy to think that that's the lasting memory. Kevin Biggio's gone. Bo Bichette's gone. We're stuck with Vlad. At least we have our guy Vlad for 14 years.
Yeah, I was just driving around and listening to MLB Network radio, and they were talking about the Blue Jays and what's next for the Blue Jays, and something that I thought was interesting that they said was Harrison Bader had a really good year last
Mm,
year, and I think he'd be a good bench bat. Like
yeah,
Miles Straw did a lot last year. He didn't do a whole lot in the Kyle Tucker
yeah,
negotiations
no, I
until the
don't like him though.
posting, but I think get Harrison Bader righty bat off the bench, and it kind of overlaps with Okamoto, but I think that would be a good swap there. And then I think just the last thing is that lefty bat for the two hole. We've seen Dalton Varsho in the two hole before. He hasn't surprised anyone in the two hole. Like I don't know if he
Nope,
like tenses up in the two hole, and it's a whole other
I don't
game
know.
for him. And Addison Barger, I would like low in the lineup. So two great batters. I don't think they're two hole hitters. I don't think Nathan Lucas can replicate what he did in 2025. So maybe go get a Harrison Bader. Maybe go and get a lefty bat. And if you don't now, you'll have to do it at the deadline if you want to make a run in the postseason.
It's crazy. This is, I guess, why people are going to say that, oh, fire Atkins, and we're back to the fire Shapiro thing, whatever, because it's how are we going from Bo Bichette to Harrison Bader? But you know what? Again, see the whole vision, see the entire offseason. The writing was starting to be on the wall, right? It's like as soon as he got Okamoto, that was like the final touch, right? As soon as he got Okamoto, where's the fit? I kept saying just throw Bo at second, make the platoons work, but that was a lot of platooning we were talking about, right?
A lot.
Ernie and Jimenez at short and Barger Okamoto at third. There was a lot of platooning going on. The only thing, again, in terms of the fit and in terms of the offensive profile, the other thing I've realized too is we're turning into this older, power heavy team. Addison Barger is a power guy. Dalton Varsho is a power guy. George Springer, for the most part, right? Not really an average guy. Decent average last year, really good average actually last year, but for his career, he's a power guy. Okamoto looks like, yes, he has some contact ability, but for the most part, he's been a power guy. This is sort of what the team turns into. Bo Bichette was not that guy. He'll put up anywhere between 15 to 20 home runs a season, might get 25. He's going to hit over 300 every year. We're kind of losing. Does Ernie Clement become that? Is that where, I mean, he's playing for Team USA now. They must see the value, hit 450 in the playoffs. I don't know. Does he become that? I don't know. That's the one thing we're losing is that slap hitter. You need a base hit to the right side. Bo Bichette was one of the best players in the entire league at doing that. Did he piss me off a couple of times when he's chasing curveballs 5 feet out of the zone? Yeah, that was really pissing me off to watch. But he somehow had one of the higher chase rates in the league, but one of the lowest whiff rates in the league. He would swing at bloody everything there is, but he would hit it most of the time, and he would get it into the outfield, and he would get a single and a double, and occasionally home run. So for Philly fans too, like I don't even know what Philly fans are feeling like. Oh yeah, Don Mattingly is there, so he's going to go to Philly. Okay, that didn't happen, and now he goes to your rival. He goes to the Mets. So lol, Philly's there for a moment, but.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
well,
don't
there
know.
was a Bob Nightingale report as well saying that the Phillies had agreed to a deal with Bo Bichette last night. I think it was a
Oh
seven-year,
wow.
$210 million deal,
Okay,
and
I missed
that was
that.
pretty much done. Both sides had agreed to it, and then the Mets came out of nowhere and gave him his heck of a deal today. So just a lot going on, interdivision too. So
Yeah.
crazy.
And at least we were saying too, if Bo is gonna leave, I just kept saying it's gonna sting no matter what. Just don't let him go to the Yankees or the Mets. And I will tell you right now, when I saw that Jeff Passan tweet and it said New York, my heart dropped thinking it was the Yankees. I thought, oh my
Yeah.
God, if he goes to the Yankees. So at least, you know, like we said, if it's Philly, if it's the Mets, whatever it is, even if it was the Dodgers, that would just be funny at that point if it was the Dodgers. Just get him out of the division. We don't have to see him in Boston. We kept hearing, well, are the Red Sox going to shift to Bo Bichette now because they didn't get Bregman and they brought in Ranger Suarez, but they still need another stick? Well, that's not happening. You can cut that out. That was not happening anymore. The Yankees, are they getting Bellinger now? I don't know because they didn't get Tucker. They didn't get Bo. I don't even know what they do now, but I'm starting. I know we're coping here, but I'm starting to see the vision a little bit. This is a solid team. There was sort of that sense too, like yes, Vlad and Bo were always bros, and they were the guys that came up through the org. But I remember hearing the Bo. I don't know. He was having speeches after games, or he was being interviewed after the games in the playoffs, and just the vibe he was getting, it almost didn't seem. I don't want to say that he didn't want to be there. Think of a Jose Barrios who didn't even show up for the World Series, which was a little strange. Bo Bichette didn't really show that enthusiasm, right? And he was kind of like, well, it's kind of cool to watch those guys play. I'm like, do you not want to be in there with them and playing with these guys? It's the World Series. Just kind of like, yeah, you know, it's kind of cool to watch these guys play. So who knows what was going on internally? We'll never know. We hear the thing about the turf coming out. Did he just not want to play on turf? I don't know. Did he not get along with the clubhouse vibe? You see about how tight knit these we talked about it endlessly, how tight knit these guys were in the clubhouse. It didn't feel like Bo was ever really part of that. So that's what's kind of strange. I always love the guy. I don't know what it is, but it never really felt like he was gelling with that clubhouse the way you see Ernie and all the other guys. Who did Bo immediately go to? He went to Don Mattingly. And that was really the one guy he embraced, right? So some things just aren't meant to be in life, and go get your money, Bo, and have a good time in New York.
Yeah, I think a lot of that is that Bo is just a hard guy to read. Like there's
He
some
is. Oh
guys
yeah, he
where
is.
it's like, okay, this guy clearly doesn't want to be here. Bo's always been just
Always.
standoffish, like just
Always.
you can never get a read on the guy. I mean,
Oh,
back in 2023, I think it was the Jays going to San Francisco for a series against the Giants, and then he's having interviews with the San Francisco press about
oh yeah,
what
yeah, you're
playing in
right.
San Francisco would be like. So there were things like that in 23, and we're like, oh, should we trade him? Never ended up trading him, and thankfully we didn't because he had a great 2025. But was just a hard guy to read, and it's just
Yeah.
who guys are sometimes. Some guys lead by example. Some guys lead by voice, like Vlad does, and many other guys like that. So Bo was just a hard guy to read. He could have fit seamlessly with the clubhouse, and we just wouldn't know.
Yeah,
So
we wouldn't know. Does this also, I'm just thinking, does this pave the way? I made a prospect video a couple weeks ago, and who were some of the guys we highlighted there? Arjun Amala and JoJo Parker, two shortstops, right? Is this paving the way for those guys? Look at what Trey Savage did. Those guys are younger. Granted, they're like 18, 19. They're younger, a couple of years development. But look how quickly Trey Savage came up and had an impact. It doesn't work out for every prospect. Alan Roden, or Will Wagner. I mean, those two didn't work out, but someone like Trey Savage did work out. I don't know. Does this pave the way for, because those are two shortstop prospects, right? And I would think they're going to have more athleticism than a 28-year-old Bo Bichette. You have Andres Jimenez for quite a few years. And we say that, oh, it felt like when they got Okamoto, that was the end of Bo Bichette. Now that I think back, wasn't it really the Andres Jimenez trade when they brought him? That was sort of the indication of, oh, do they not like Bo Bichette? Like, isn't he your shortstop? When they brought him, one of the best defenders in the league, Andres Jimenez, easily, right? Not just that shortstop in the league. That sort of felt like, now that I think about it in hindsight, the moment of, okay, Jimenez is the shortstop. Does Bo want to play second? Because I was thinking all along, well, he just wants to be a shortstop, so that's why he's not going to come back. But now he's playing third for the Mets. So I don't even know what the thinking is there because they have Lindora short. So I don't know. Does this pave the way for a couple of prospects? Is it just the guys we have now? Does Jimenez have a bounce back offensive season? That would be nice. I don't know. Can Ernie keep it up over a full year? The pieces are there. It's just the only thing you're lacking now is that consistency. You know, you can pencil it in. Bo Bichette had one off year. Okay, 2024, that was just one bad season. Injury plagued. I don't know what went wrong. Aside from that, you know he's going to hit 300, put up 20 home runs, and be an 800 to 850 OPS guy. There's a little bit of uncertainty. Like, is Ernie Clement going to be an all-star kind of player? Is Addison Barcher going to hit 30 home runs? I don't know, but now my full hope is going into that for next year.
yeah, you would love a development like Addison Barger just taking off a full year of Addison Barger
Yeah,
going crazy. That would be
yeah,
awesome. Uh, Ernie Clement who can hit 300, 315 the whole
yeah,
regular season. Like that would be amazing if one of those guys can just make a jump like that. If Anthony Santander can consistently play and
yeah,
produce at a good level. So things like that with prospects, it's hard for I think like half of the position prospects are shortstops. So like not all of them come up as shortstops. They could
no,
come up
no,
as second baseman, third baseman, left fielder types.
yeah,
So but Arjun Namala is in Double A New Hampshire, so it's like somewhat close to the MLB, and he had a rough
yeah,
second half at
bad,
least last year, and I think a lot of that was because of injury. So if Arjun Namala can have a really good year in Double A and eventually go up to Triple A, and then maybe be a September call up, that would be huge.
yeah,
JoJo Parker is still a long ways away, but Arjun Namala, like there's a clear spot for him if he produces at Double A and then makes his way up the farm system. So I think that's an interesting point. Uh, Pitcher prospects are, I think, more easy to project. Like Trey Savage was so well groomed at East Carolina, and he fell to us at 21, and
yeah,
you kind of knew he was going to come up quickly, but he came up like super quickly last year, just from single A up to MLB. So you never really know with prospects, but I think that
no,
would be exciting if Arjun Nimmala made uh, had a development like that, like a little Ricky T development out of nowhere.
Yeah.
I think that'd be fun. So, yeah, there's a lot of different things the Blue Jays kind of need to happen to be a 100-win team, right? There's no Bo Bichette. That's a few wins off now, and you need
Yeah.
a few other guys. Like you need Alejandro Kirk to produce like he did last year. You need Dalton Varsho to be healthy all year. Just things like that. And I'm not saying it's impossible because
No.
last year we had no clue that was going to happen. So you never know. And this is still a great Toronto Blue Jays roster and
Yeah.
a team I'm really excited to watch in spring training and the 2026 regular season and beyond. And they've had an amazing offseason. It's just
Yeah.
these two moves of Kyle Tucker and Bo Bichette being signed that kind of tamper on it. And they shouldn't because the Jays really have had a really good offseason.
Yeah, and I think I said this yesterday. I think we just need to go, regardless of lockout or not, I think we just need to go in the 2027 offseason not expecting anything, honestly, because we're getting too hyped up every year. Again, Otani, Sasaki, Soto, the whole
Every
thing.
year.
Every year. And now it's Tucker. And now it's our own guy. We thought it was happening last year with Vlad. Somehow, at this point, I'm wondering, how did we even get that done? I don't even know. Like, because Vlad eventually, is he going to actually be here the whole 14 years? Because we can't seem to retain anyone. I don't know. That's kind of,
Well, if Vlad entered this offseason, he was not coming back to the Toronto
oh,
Blue Jays
no.
because
No.
holy smokes, these deals are bigger than I've ever
Yeah.
seen them. So
Was he going to
we're
get
glad
80
that
a year? Like I don't I don't know if Tucker's getting 60. I don't even know
yeah,
with these deals. It's crazy.
yeah. So
The with this roster though, you mentioned it's a good roster. We've said this. It is a good roster. And I don't want to I really the last thing I would hope for is for any regression from any of the players, but we did see it a couple of years ago, right? Alejandro Kirk, George Springer, a couple of down years, Bo Bichette as well. Dalton Varsho kind of throw in there as well, a couple of down years. Some of those guys have down years again. They're all humans. All these baseball players, they're humans. It happens. Again, a great guest we just had on Joe Siddle was talking about Miguel Cabrera, one of the better hitters in the league, going through tough patches. Everyone
sure,
goes through
sure.
tough patches. So that's where I'm thinking with this roster. Again, Bo Bichette was that one guy who brought the consistency. Is Alejandro Kirk going to put up 4 or 5 wins next season? I don't know. Like Vlad had 23 home runs next year. Can we get Vlad pushing 40 home runs
True,
again?
true.
Can we do that? Again, are we going to get the Addison Barger, the Ernie Clement development? Is Anthony Santander? That's another question mark. Feels like there's a couple of question marks here. Is Santander going to put up 30 home runs? If he does that, I'll be happy. Can George Springer at 37 years old keep doing what he's doing? I don't
Yeah,
know. The Dalton Varsho piece is interesting though because think of the infield. Okamoto, again, another question mark. We have no idea what he's going to become. Jimenez, is not a great hitter. Ernie, can you really pencil him in to be like a 350 hitter every year? That's just not realistic. Maybe he'll hit like 270 or something. The outfield as well. George Springer's going to be gone. Anthony Santander is not a contact guy. And none of these guys really have great defensive ability, especially in the outfield. Dalton Varsho does. I'm curious, what do they do now? Like, again, are they going to go pivot to a Cody Bellinger? Is that what they do? And if they don't, you mentioned Dalton Varsho's a Scott Boras guy. That extension, guys, that is not happening. He's a Scott Boras client. They are not getting that extension done. And then does this mean we get to next offseason and somehow someone's put in an offer for 40 a year for Dalton Varsho in the market? I don't know. We lose him. So that's what made it seem like we needed one of Tucker Bichette, secure them long term because we're going to be losing some significant pieces next offseason.
yeah, and yeah, it's been a pretty depressing 18 hours I think,
I
but
know, not even 24.
yeah, but who knows what Ross is cooking up?
Yeah,
He hasn't made a trade yet, I think, so that could be exciting.
yeah,
He loves his trades, so who knows what will happen between now and spring training? But I don't think it's over. I think there's one or two more
no.
pieces to come, and yeah.
Yeah, are we I don't know, are we booing Bo Bichette? I think we're cheering when he comes back,
Oh, we're
right?
cheering him. We're
We're
cheering him.
cheering him.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'll at least be cheering him. I know that.
yeah,
And he's playing, I think, what is he playing for Brazil for the WBC? I think that's the
yeah.
case, right? We'll be rooting him on for Brazil in the WBC, see how far they go. I don't know if they'll go that far. But regardless, yeah, best of luck to Bichette and
We're
with the
booing Kyle
Mets.
Tucker and Shohei Ohtani though when the Dodgers
That
play
I can get
Toronto.
behind.
So
Yeah, I remember being at the first game that he came back with the Dodgers, or the first game with the Dodgers in Toronto, Otani, and I was all over that boo train. So
yeah, and
I
then he
was
went
doing
yard,
that.
I think. So
Oh, immediately 72-mile-an-hour curveball, Chris Bassett. See you later in the right field. But
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, we'll do the same for Kyle Tucker because we never had him. But Bo did so much for this city, right? He was here for what, since 2016? 10 years he was in the organization. 2019 made his debut. You see the pictures with Biggio, with Vlad, all the guys that came up together. Biggio wasn't necessarily part of it as much, but it was Bo and Vlad all along. You see them grow all the way. It's kind of crazy to think they were here when they were like 16 years old, and you saw them grow until what, 25, 26 years old, and they're all grown up in the World Series playing together. That's what kind of stings is honestly, I don't think I'd be hurt as much if they won the World Series and then Bo left, because at least they'd win the ring together, Bo and Vlad. We'll never get to see that. He got his bag. What did all these players in it for? They all want to win rings, yes. But when you're offered $42 million, you have to take it. That's what these guys are in for. That's the business part of it. So thanks everything for everything you did, Bo Bichette, and best of luck in Queens is all I have to say.
Yeah, and thanks for everyone listening to this episode. It's been
Yep.
another kind of gloomy one. Yesterday, I think, was more gloomy just because
Yeah.
that came out of nowhere. But thanks for listening, guys, and go Jays as always.
Thanks for listening. Go Jays.